Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the broadcast. I remembered something. Somebody said something this week that got me thinking about something. Does that help? I don't know. Maybe that helps. Maybe it doesn't help. That helps. Okay, because I got to thinking about it and I thought, I never had problems on Periscope once I figured out where I needed to have the painting positioned. I didn't have trouble every single time figuring out where this camera needed to be. And so I thought, well, what am I doing differently? And I thought, it's where I've got the camera. And so I thought, okay, let's try doing this like that. Okay, let's try it. All right, so welcome to the broadcast, everyone. My name's Marilyn Brown, and I'm also known as Paintbrush Brown. So on Facebook, I am Paintbrush Brown. Hello there, Sharon. And I'm a watercolor artist. Well, I'm an artist. I've done oils, acrylics, watercolors, inks. Um, I don't know. I just like it all. I like it all. Although I don't do oils at all anymore. They're toxic and they're hard to deal with. And even though they are beautiful and I love them, I don't do them. So acrylics, I do paint in acrylics. I even kind of thought about maybe going on another evening. Yeah, I think this works better. I'd forgotten that that's what I did. Don't ask me why I forgot that. You'd think I would just not ever forget something like that, but there we are. Um, but I had considered doing a separate evening and doing some acrylic things because acrylic is an incredibly different medium than watercolor, and I I may end up doing that, but I've got to get through Dawn's journey before I go promising that I'm going to do anything. And I just put my arm in paint. Why did I do that? We don't know because I am who I am, and that's just me. What can I say? That's me. Let's move it out of our arm's reach. How about that? That'll work. All right. So last week we painted daisies. This week we're going to paint daisies again, but and I did mention that you can use the same picture that you used, the same line drawing that you did last week. Just we're going to paint it a different way. I taught that same picture today, this morning, to my grandchildren, and we did it even a third way. So, but the third way is the way we would normally do most anything that we do. Um, I started I started a notebook, and this kind of method is the way that we would normally do it, where you lay down your light and then you put in your dark. You make sure you're leaving your highlight. Hello, hello, hello. And I was just doing this for fun. I wanted to have a separate notebook that I remember to always keep with me when we go to doctor's appointments so that I don't forget what I'm supposed to be asking. I did, by the way, find out that the biopsy is an outpatient thing and the surgery is an inpatient thing. So they are separate events. See, I didn't even know that. The way she was talking, she went from one to the other, and I don't know, I was just flat out confused. So we will go to the biopsy, even though she said she already knows it's cancer. It will tell her how they want to know what those cells actually are because they can target the right medications to it. I don't know. Is that mind blowing? I think it is, but okay, we're just going to move with it. All right. So every day is something new. And so in the coming days, weeks, my life is going to be rather, how shall I say, insecure. I don't know what I'm doing. So if I am missing, if I don't announce that I'm not coming on, it's because I wasn't able to announce anything. And if I just can't come on, I can't do it because my husband has cancer and my life just changed drastically. Now, we are going to fight, and we are prayer warriors. You know, we are prayer warriors. And so, if you are praying people, join us in that prayer because we intend, because this, yes, but this cancer was caught very early because they caught it while they were looking at something else. So he doesn't have any symptoms at all. And they said by the time you have symptoms with pancreatic cancer, it's too late. So we've caught it early. All right. So I've got a different picture here that the first one we used. The first one we used had three. This would be nice if I'd get it in focus now, wouldn't it? Had three littler ones. This one is too big and a little, but I thought it'd also be good to do a bud so you'll know how to do those. And, at the beginning of anything, you do something and you find out what works and you find out what doesn't work. And you learn as you go. It's not necessarily that the way you tried first was a mistake. It just might be something is known that would work better. Okay, so, all right, the colors we're going to use tonight. I'm going to ask you to use a color that you might not have. Okay, now that being said, you can create this color. I made mine using ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, and yellow ochre. If you have the color indigo on your palette, you can save yourself a lot of effort. Indigo on your palette, great. However, I am not so sure, but what I like the one I mixed just as well, maybe a little better. Just, you can control then, well, one, by knowing what's in it, you know what other things you could put in your painting. Now, this one doesn't have anything because it's a teaching piece, but ultimately, I would love for you guys to paint this one. It doesn't have daisies in it. However, I have drawn a version of this where some of these filler flowers were replaced with daisies. So, there's always options, but I would love for you guys to be able to do something like this, but this would probably end up being a month-long project. I'm just saying, you keep working on this same one for an entire month. And this particular one, I believe would come out being an 11 by 14 painting, which then matched to a 16 by 20. And I can't paint that large in here. It won't fit on my desk. I know, isn't that stupid? You have to limit the pictures you could paint by what'll fit on your desk. But we're in a motorhome. It's not a huge one of those $1 million motorhomes. This is an old one, and I'm grateful and happy to be here and to have it. And you guys, seriously, I'm really glad to be here in the motorhome. I'm thinking if I had been in Indiana in an apartment, I might not care for it too much. And I just did something I wanted to not do. Okay, well, so let's not get a cart before the horse. And I did something what did I do with it? No, we don't know. I had an eraser sitting here and now I don't. Makes me wonder what's happening to my brain. I want to take out some of this graphite. Now, last time that I tried taking out graphite, I took out so much I couldn't even see my lines, where in the world I was going. And I don't want to do that again. That was kind of not a great move. So I'm only going to take out a couple at a time. So if I start to paint something in a minute that I didn't take out those graphite lines, yell at me. Oh, I can't hear. Well, anyway, we'll see how that goes. I'll try to remember. Okay, then we're going to add water. And this is not a suggestion. This is a requirement for this particular flower, because that wet paper is going to absorb your color differently. Yes, I took out too much, and then you can't even see where you're going. Now, if you're making it up as you go along, hey, who cares? But there is that other, you know, you need it. Can't see where you're going. Okay, now, when this changes from a shiny petal to one that has a sheen, we will know that it's ready to go. And see how it dulled down right there just a little bit? You can tell that it's wet, but it's not soggy. Okay, then you're going to, when let me, all right, my palette to begin with. So I've got beaded up paint sitting right here. No, I don't mean paint, beaded up water sitting right here. I've got my mix of indigo here. My real indigo is right here. And let's see what the difference is. I have a strip here, I can tell you. This is the purchased. I'm going to say it's Daniel Smith. This is Daniel Smith indigo. And there are many painters who like the Daniel Smith indigo better than they do the Winsor Newton. I don't know that I have a preference about it. Okay, then the one I made, I believe, is a little bit bluer than the real deal or the purchased blend. I don't know. Maybe it's not too much. I don't think it's quite as gray, perhaps, but it'll give you an indication of what you're headed toward. And I just got that on my, okay, now it's not. Okay, so let me lay that there. This is the purchased one. This is the I made it myself one. I think they're pretty close. I think either one would work fine. Just pick away and go with it, whichever way that is. I think it is a little bit more blue than yes, I think my mix is a little bit more blue than theirs. Theirs goes a little bit more gray, but I don't know what blue they started out with either. So I have no idea what they started with. Just that's what they've got. So when I'm picking this up, if I'm picking up out of here, I'm going to mix it into some of that water. I want a very thin wash before I ever start. When I pick up color, I'm not picking up absolute indigo. I'm picking up a wash. And I'm going to start right down in here in this little bitty area and bring it up around this, because I've got 2 foreshortened petals here in the front. So I'm just going to put a little bit in there and let it sit there. It's not going to be, oh, that's so beautiful already. No, because it doesn't look like anything. Then I'm going to come out here and apply a little bit here and a little bit here. And I'm going to bring a line down here. I'm going to turn this and bring a line down here. And then stroke, pick up more water, and make sure that that blends. You don't want stripes so much as you want an area of color with white in the middle of it. Okay, now let me show you something here. I had a piece. Yes, I have a piece. Let me move this out of the way. And I'm going to draw a picture for you here. Here's our center. Our foreshortened petals are here. And those of you who have done rubber stamping, especially if you have done Stampin' Up! Rubber stamping, they have had flower sets that look just like what I'm talking about here. Okay, so when you buy those rubber stamps, they'll have an area here and here. Do you remember seeing this kind of thing on your flowers? And they'll put one here and there, and they'll put one there and there. Do you remember seeing that? I used ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, and yellow ochre. Okay, so I mixed ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson. It makes a purple. Then I downplayed that purple tendency with the yellow ochre, and I adjust the colors to get what I want it to look like. And I wanted it to look like that real deal. So that was as close as I was going to get, just like that, to the real deal. Oh, it'd be nice if you could actually see it, wouldn't it? Okay. So when you're adding that yellow ochre, you're doing it a touch, a tiny bit, because you don't want gray. I mean, you're not really making Payne's gray. Indigo is more blue than that. Indigo stays blue. Payne's gray is similar to indigo, but it is gray, very gray. Okay. All right, but if you remember on those rubber stamps, they'd give you lines like this. And honestly, people didn't really even know quite what they were looking at or what to do with it. And you would see all kinds of ways that they colored it. Well, that is what you're coloring here, only you don't have those lines to go with you. So, okay, and this one's now a little drier than I want it to be. So I'm going to dampen it. I'm going to try again. All right, so I'm going to place this blue down in here at the beginning. That is very dark. See, but this area can be dark. It's okay if it's dark there, but that tells you what you've got in your brush. All right, then I'm going to come up here and up here, and I'm going to make lines there that I don't want I don't want it blended heavily. I want a soft edge here. So I've just got water, and I just soft edge here. I want water. Then I've got my blue there and the blue over here. See, it can blend out in those two areas. I may even want to come in here again right here, because this needs to get darker down in here where it goes to the center. Okay, now you can say, well, Marilyn, you've not painted a white daisy, you've painted a blue daisy. Yes, technically we did. However, when everything is said and done, it's going to read as a white daisy, even though it's not. Because in nature, white isn't really, I don't want to say it's not really there. It reads to your eyes as white, but it's not really white. Because honestly, you see shades of gray, shades of blue, shades of green, depending on what it's around, what the sunlight looks like, what time of day it is. You know, all those things make a difference. Okay, so I'm going to lighten my graphite. For those of you who know me, you need to congratulate me because I remembered. Yay, Marilyn. Because my memory is not grand. All right, then we're going to add water to the petal. And at this point, I might not encourage you to paint adjacent flower petals. I think you would be better off going every other one, because you're putting down enough water that on good paper, that's going to stay wet. Okay, make sure what color you're picking up is, it's already washed out. That's a lot of water and a little color. We'll wait until that's ready. I think it is. We're going to put the color right in there. See, and if I had worked with this next petal, it'd be over there in it. Okay, and we're going to put color here and here and here. Let's put it big there. There's big. There's littler, and here is littler. Okay. And we blend. That one doesn't, that kind of blended itself pretty well right there. I like it. I like it. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one, which I skipped one, so I'm going to come in here to the center. And evidently I got water there too, because it's following the water. Watercolor always will follow the water, so be a little more careful than I was. I'm going to put color here, definitely here, because it's going to come down here like that. Go up a little bit and come again. And right here, it's shaded because it goes underneath this other petal. Okay, so here, yeah. And you want to make sure you keep your light. because you can't put light in. You've got to keep it. Now, at this stage, it's hard sometimes to tell where your light is and where your dark is. On the next stage, you'll see it. It'll be obvious. You will definitely see it. Okay, I'm going to erase. I'm going to wet this petal. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't have my brush cleaned out as well as I wanted. There. It's good. It's all good. It's all fine. That's one of the benefits of working on the good paper is it doesn't grab a hold of it. That water will just let you, it gives you more working time. Okay, I'm just going to do that one, I think, this time. Picking up already diluted color. And bringing that right into the tip here. Then around here. A little bit there. And a little bit here, I think. Down there. I think that was not supposed to be that way. Because that appears to be more on top. See, once I erase those lines, I can't tell where I'm going. It's hard to see it. Okay, let's try that again. Right there. Here. And let's come here, but stay off that edge. Then I've just got water, and I'm going to blend that. Blend here and blend here. Soften those edges, but don't get rid of your light. Right there. It's light. Okay, let's blend this one a little bit too. I think it's a little harsh right there. I think ultimately it won't be, but it kind of reads that way to me right now. All right, so then I'm going to come back over to this one that I skipped and place in my water. I'm not going to do this one yet because I just did that other petal. So I'll just work on this one. Picking up diluted color right in here. Down here. Here. And right in here. I don't know. Did I say that other one was on top? I don't know. I can't really tell. But I think we're going to go with what we see at the moment, not, you know, and yours, you may have a different view of what's on top and what's on bottom. But you want your color to be applied to the areas that go underneath something else. But that to me right there looks like it's under that. I think it is. Maybe yours isn't, but you follow what your painting calls for. And then we soften. Soften that right there. I think that wasn't even the one I was working on, was it? Now I've gotten myself all goofed up. I don't know where I'm going. So lest you say, Marilyn, what in the world are you doing? I'm going to say, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going with what I see. Okay. I'm going to stop right there. I've got two more petals, this one and this one. So I'm going to come over here and do this one. It's not ready. I can tell you that right now. And see all that water? It just went whew. It's because it's still too wet. But I'm impatient. You're having a hard time with this? Okay, how can I help you? Do you need me to say something again? We have a tendency in our minds to notice the things that are light first. I don't know why. It's just, I don't know. Maybe you guys aren't like me. Maybe you see the dark first. But because my eyes go to the light, oh, you need to draw again. Aha. Well, it's not a race, so take your time and do what you need to do. I'm going to come back up underneath this one. Or was it over or under? I don't know. We're going to say it's under. Okay, now that is incredibly dark in my estimation. We're going to soften that down, touch it to remove the water. And then I think it was on top. Sorry about it. I'm getting myself confused. I can't tell which one's on top and which one's on bottom. That's why. It's the same one I was working with a while ago, and I said, I can't tell, is it on top or is it on bottom? And I think it's on this one. Okay, so if you're going 1, 2, 3, number 2 pedal here, I think is on the top. It feels on top to me. I could be wrong, but let's see what happens if we treat it as though it is. That is incredibly dark. Even though, yeah, I've diluted it, it just, of course, the paper's gotten drier since then, so we'll just go with it. See, and I think it, yes, I think it needs, okay, so number 3, this one, 1, 2, 3, this one is on top of this one. This one, number 2, is on top of this one. So this one's under, this one's on top, this one's on top of this one. Now, how it is in the drawing, I don't know. But it's rather, yep, that's how I drew it. That's how, let me see here. Because see, if we were to number these, let's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 is on top on 2 sides. 7 is on top of 8, but under 6. Does that make sense? If that makes sense. Yes. See, but that's what happens when I erase my lines and I wasn't looking at the drawing. I didn't even have it out here. I need to keep it out here because it matters. Because you can confuse yourself incredibly. You can. See, and I painted something got trimmed off right in here that, and it's too late now. I've already trimmed it. So I'm just going to be happy with what we've got and we're going to move on. It's going to be fine. Okay, we're going to, see, the paper is drying now. So whenever I put something down, it's darker than what I thought it was going to be. So that's all right. That's all right. Okay, so we're going to come back here, out here at this edge. Make sure that the color is actually there, but you don't want it blending down into the light area. You don't want it blended in the light area. Okay, we're going to bring a little bit here. Look, not too much. A little bit. Just like that. A bit there. Just like that. Soften. Keep soften. There we go. I think that's good. I'm going to keep that. All right, I'm going to flip this over, and I've got that one more number 6 petal to paint. So I'm going to get it wet. And let it do its water thing while I pick up some paint. And I want to make sure I'm picking up a wash, not straight paint. And I'm waiting for this. Wait. Okay, we're good. I'm going to put it right in here. And on either side of this dip right here, I'm going to put color and soften it. I don't want it really on the sides, if I could keep from it, because, and it's filling in. I guess it was wetter than it looked. Okay, so I want light here and light here. There's not enough there. It's not, and it dries lighter than what we see, so I think it's not even visible. That's what I think. Okay, there, right here. And right here. There's light there, and there's light there. So we're that, yeah, and it's softening all on its own. It's right at that perfect place right there. I think it may need a little bit more encouragement to soften right there and there, but we're good. I think it's going to do its thing. I think it's good. All right, so now we're going to go back and do layer 2 here, but we're using the same washes that we've used before, but they're going to appear a little bit darker, which means you're going to need to be a little bit more careful with them. So it's going to go in here, like so. Matter of fact, I'm just going to put that in there. I'm going to dab that too, because that is, there we go. That's what I want right there. Putting color in. There we go. It's soft enough there. Right here. I like it. And that's the most underneath one. Then we've got this one. That's good. This is the one that we just did. And there we go. A little bit more here. And there. This one, I think, needs it again, because I don't know. At the beginning, am I too timid? I don't know. There. Because at the tips of these, at the very back, of tips of these petals, you want it to be dark, because you're going to put in a yellow center, and in order to make that yellow center do its best work, it has to have something dark behind it. There we go. There we go. That, I believe, should work. Now, I've got a little bit of Payne's Gray in this yellow area. I want to see if I can coax some of that out of there. Well, okay, it's coaxed enough, I guess. We'll make it work. All right, and I'm going to use cadmium yellow. I don't know whether it's pale or deep, either one, whatever you have that is your yellow. You're going to apply it right in here. I did not wet this area first, except up here where I was monkeying with trying to take out that color. That's the only part of it that's wet, really. You want it to grab here. And if you put water underneath it, it's going to soften everything. If you don't put water, it's going to grab it and keep it. Oh no. I don't know how you stand getting shots in your eye, Rose. I don't think, I'm a fairly brave person, but that just makes me cringe. Just, I don't know. Then I'm going to pick up yellow ochre. And I'm going to come down in here. And I'm tapping. I'm on the tip of my brush. And I'm tapping in this color. Just like that. I'm going to wash out the color. So I've got just a damp brush. And I'm going to come back and bring that up in here. Like that. Soften that edge. Where it comes down in this area where it meets these four shortened petals, it stays dark. Matter of fact, I would pick up if you've got a little bit of raw, I don't know, what is this one? Raw umber, I think it's called. Yes, raw umber. If you have raw umber, that would be a good color for this. If you don't, pick up a little bit of burnt umber and mix it with your yellow. And it'll make a nice color that you can use. You don't want it excessively wet. And then you're going to come back in here in these deepest places, just a little bit in there, just like that. It kind of just, I don't know, sort of disappears into the universe right there, but that's okay. We'll let it. I'm going to put a little bit of this color also in this. I want the yellow ochre, I think, first. I think I should have put the yellow ochre first. Yes. And then I'm going to just come up here at the edge of it and just tap to blend. It blends it softer. You get a more gradual blend that way. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that raw umber again and come right down in here in the very deepest part of this little indention right here. Right there. Okay. Now, this right here is bugging me. I don't care for the way that looks. Well, too bad. I don't know if I care about that enough to ruin everything. I don't want to ruin everything. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry at the back, and then I'll come back in and work on some pollen dots there. But while we're letting that dry, we're going to work those four shortened petals. And you're going to do it first with a very light wash of your blue. Because blue recedes, we don't want this to get very dark. Because what this is, you're seeing the front tips of these petals, just the tip. Now, sometimes you can make it a little darker here at the back, and it'll appear as though you're peeking out at a little bit of the underneath side, but I don't know, this one's fairly skinny, so just keep it light. I think if you can understand what I'm saying there, just keep it light. All right, I think I can do. I'm going to use a Pigma Micron pen, and I'm going to come in here and apply these dots. This is pollen. Pollen, you know, goes everywhere. Now, if you could find a super fine tip, super dark green pen that would match the color of your leaves, that would be awesome. But good luck getting that done. You're better off sticking with something like this, I believe. That's my opinion. I'm going to add a little bit here in front of these foreshortened petals. And evidently that is too wet there. It's not going to take the paint. I mean the marker. There we go. There we go. Right there. Right there. All right, now you can also, it is okay and good to pick up anything that you're going to use on your palette can be repeated in these dots. Whatever it is, you can use yellow ochre, and we're just going to add, they're not going to be everywhere, just a few here and there. I think I want some up here, just a little bit right there. And I want to do some of those raw umber ones because we want the raw umber to know it belongs in this painting too. Just keep on the tip of your brush so that you're keeping them tiny. Okay, now this flower is done exactly like this flower. So I'm going to go up here and do this little bud up here. It's different because it's what you're looking at is different. It's closed, so you're seeing the outsides of the petals in front and the inside of these petals that are in the back. So let's apply some water to the ones that are at the back. And we're going to pick up our indigo mix again. We're just going to put it right in there and let it sit. We're not monkeying with it. Just going to let it sit there. Right there. That's all. Now, at the very tip of that, just touch a little bit with your paintbrush. Don't go wild and crazy because your graphite may do some of that work for you. All right. All right. How are we doing here? I think one of them, I want it dark down in here. So if you've got one that you can see down into, you want to make sure that area is dark, but you don't just stop the paint. It's got to come up. I mean, you don't want to put a ring around something. You want it to look like it's belonging there. Okay, so we're going to bring it down in here and then bring it up in here just a little. Not too much. Don't go crazy. Just like that. Taking away any moisture that's still there because I don't want that blending out. I don't want it wet. I want it to dry quickly. Yep. All right, now on this one, I'm going to work petal by petal. And I'm not applying tons of water. I'm just applying a little water. A little water to each of these petals, one at a time. So I'm going to do one, and then I'm going to come back in here and add my color in here. I'm using the indigo wash, but I'm keeping it very light. Water. Color. Water. Color. Water. Then do the last two. All right, and we'll let that sit there for just a little bit. And when it gets drier, I mean, not totally dry, but drier, we will add a little bit more. I can stay, it's not ready. It's still wet. Okay, we're going to come in and add some more here. I want this to be dark but blended, if you know what I'm saying. I want it to be dark down here where it meets this area. The calyx that it grows out of, or the calyx, is it calyx or calyx? I don't know. Some say potato, some say potato, whatever. Okay, I'm going to just tickle this up here a little bit. Just tickle it a little. We don't want it to be too much. We want it to be there, but not intense. All right, and this one, I don't know. It's got Dunlap's disease right here. Dunlapped over right there. But that's okay. I'm going to keep it there. It's going to be fine. All right. All right. This calyx right here is what it was, the bud, but it's starting to open. So this has parts that move in this one. I went and looked up an awesome picture, and it was a wonderful picture. And it gave me a really good look at what this bud is going to look like. Now I'm going to use sap green on this, but I'm going to add some of my indigo into it so that I can get a green that goes more obviously with my picture, if that makes any sense. It's going to be a continuity in there. All right, now I've got that mixed. Now I'm going to pick up a yellow. I want that on my palette as well. I want plenty of that available to me. Wash out my brush. And on this calyx, these little, I want little, I don't know, I'm going to say yellow zigzags. The tips of these are yellow, okay? Don't go too wacky with it though, because there's another layer down here, and it comes here and there and there and there, because this thing is going to open in multiple levels. Okay, we're going to put just a little bit of this right there at the base center. Don't go crazy with it, because it's going to blend out here in just a minute. We're going to blend most of this away. And I'm going to pick up some of my sap green indigo mix, and I'm going to come right in here. I did not add water first because I don't want this blending all over the place. I want this color to stay where I put it, although it's not going to stay, because yellow never, I mean, it's not all going to stay, but it doesn't have to all stay. Some of it has to. And this green definitely needs to come out to wherever the edge of your petal is. It comes out to that. Okay, there. Mine went nutty, so it had to be dealt with. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit more paint here, and then blend into that yellow right there. And that's so that when we paint the stem, you'll be able to see a difference right there and where the stem is. Okay, now, do I leave it that way? Of course I don't. Okay, take out the color, and I just have a damp brush, and I'm just going to come up here and touch on that yellow where the yellow and the green meet, and I'm blending it. Touching, 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 right in there. Now, God is able to do this a whole lot better than I can. Okay, so with his, you can see really well where the yellow is and where the green is. On mine, not so good, but he didn't use watercolor either. He used some other material. I don't know what that was. Miracle palette? I don't know. And we'll call it, he used his creation power to be able to get a better job done. Okay, then you're going to come down in here, in between these little places, if you can imagine an in-between. It's what you're wanting to see is texture. That's what it is you're after right there. It's texture. Then you're going to put some here. Blend, 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 blend. And then up here, you're going to separate these into little raggedy bits right there. At the base of this, it gets some little bit of darkness there. It comes up in here because it's not yellow. It's gonna read green. You want it to be green, but you're gonna see yellow in the midst of it. There we go. I think that works. I'm gonna bring this green up just a little bit right there. 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 And then I'm going to bring my green here, and I'm just going to come down, and then I'm going to turn it over and do the other edge just right here. Now you want to be careful you don't get this too too thick looking because it'll look harsh and weird. Okay, you want it darker at the edges and gradually lightening into the center. I think it needs more dark right here at this edge. And it kind of comes down a little, it's a little boxy here. If that, you know what I'm saying? It's not there. It's there. That's what it is right there. It's boxy looking. And then we're going to come here and just blend a little bit here and there, just letting some of the yellow peek through from time to time so that you can see it's there. It's there, but it's blended right there. Then we're going to come back in with some of our super dark right there. It's going to have a lot of indigo in this part right here, right underneath there. And then a little bit down and not too much there, but just a little bit. So you have a dimensional looking stem. Okay, I'm going to finish out my stem down here. The farther I get away from the flowers, the less I need to be concerned with what the stem actually looks like. When it's up there with it, it's being noticed. When it's not, you don't really want it to be noticed. The stem is not the star of the show. And you want to keep on the tip of your brush when you're putting this in. Otherwise, you're going to have color coming out the sides of the stem, and then you'll have to go back and fix it. And when you try going back and fixing something, you're going to get it too big. Okay. So I'm going to go here. It's right there. And I'm going to pick up my dark. And come down here just a little bit. Just a little. There. You want it darker where it goes underneath another stem. So that when you do the next stem, it'll actually stay on top. Okay? Now, I want to go back in with my indigo. Back in here, just while it's dried. I want to come back in here and put a little bit more of my dark where they come together right there. There we go. Some places now that one needs to be a little bit more there and there because it's darker. But I still want it to look like it's on the front of the flower, so we don't want it too dark. All right. So you can see dimension there. I think you can. I'm not positive that I'm liking this all that much. I think I want to bring like a wash of the indigo around this side and maybe on this side a little. Then I'm going to take out the color and just use a damp brush to blend it. Pat, 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 pat to blend. And this side is doing what I wanted this side to do. It's not wanting to do it. Don't ask me why, because it is contrary. Right there. Okay. Yep, I think so. All right, so now we are sitting at 8:35 time-wise. Do you want to go ahead and work this next flower together, or do you want to see a leaf again? The leaves we did in the other week. I think you guys know how to do the leaves. If not, go pick up back on that other last week's lesson. Should give you a good look at how to do these. I don't know. It's up to you. I'm losing my light here, so there's going to be a limit to how long I'm going to be able to stay on. We will need to find a different time slot because I can't get the lighting back in here as good as it needs to be once the light starts leaving in the daylight, I'm going to need something. But I don't want to really address that until after we're through with Dawn's stuff, because I don't know anything about time, how time's going to go. I don't want to promise something I can't deliver. Okay, I'm going to do, I didn't erase, did I? Marilyn, what am I going to do with you? I think love me and keep me. I think that's what's going to have to happen. That's what my mom used to tell me. She was just going to love me and keep me. So what are you going to do? Throw me away to the pigs or love me and keep me? She said she was just going to love me and keep me. It's a good thing because we didn't have any pigs. So I think so too. I think it's a good thing. I've already forgotten something already. But I'm losing my light. And I don't know. I'm thinking an hour is long enough, even though if you were in one of my real classes, it would be a 3-hour session, but we can't do 3 hours here. That's just too much. So, but remember how you did it, and you'll be able to do it again. If not, message me or go back and watch the video again. It'll be here, and you can see it again. Just working a different petal. That's so. I think I need to stop too. I'm tired. This has been a long day. All right, so I'm going to say, make today a happy day. Only you can. Your choices matter. You guys, everything's going to work out okay. Whatever God wants, that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to leave it in God's pocket and go on. So have a great evening. We'll see you next time. Maybe. Don't know. Life's not my own. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.